Welcome, everyone, to another episode of
Why the Long Face?
where Paul and I get together and we talk about
Crazy bits and nonsense bits.
just utter rubbish.
Rubbish and crazy bits.
Oh yeah. That's what makes this channel so good.
Immediately when they heard that, they shut off our YouTube channel.
Exactly.
Those two British bastards.
So, once again, we're here to talk about
The Walking Dead. Fear of The Walking Dead.
exactly. And again, we're going to be doing 2 episodes. This
A twofer.
Yeah, it's a twofer. So, we're going to start off with where we left off last time, where, of course, our favorite annoying mother, Madison, has decided to volunteer in going to find a lost caravan.
Yeah.
So, when they go looking for this lost caravan, they go to find the helicopter that fell.
Yeah, and a clue as to who shot at the helicopter.
Right. Because they're pretty much Madison wanted to do this because she wants to see where Travis is.
She has that mean on for whoever shot him down. I get what maybe she's thinking, hey, it's not real, like he's not dead.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some part of her that just wants closure.
Okay.
So she wants to see where he is, what he looks like, if he's a zombie, so she can take him out. You know, closure.
Yeah.
And the one thing that they've seen is where the helicopter crashed. The helicopter's gone. Now, me thinking, how the hell did they move that helicopter when there really isn't that kind of...
They moved it?
Yeah. Do you remember looking at the ground?
Oh, it was empty. Yeah, it was gone. It was gone.
Yeah, it was gone. So it's just like, what the hell? How the hell? Why would they move a whole helicopter? It doesn't make sense to me, unless they stripped it. But even stripping it would leave something behind.
I wonder if they moved it just to say, hey, let's see what we can rip out of this and maybe repair it. I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to me that the whole...
It's got to be the Indians that did it, right? It's got to be.
Well...
But they didn't make any notion of that.
Well, you're jumping ahead of course. But
I'm talking about next year's season.
But, yeah, I mean, what we see at this point is that somebody has moved the helicopter. Nobody knows who. But they find some clues onto where they think the other party has gone to. Finally, they find them. What did they see?
What do they see?
They see the dead bodies burnt.
Oh yeah, they bring it back to that. They track it back to that like house or outpost.
Yeah, some kind of outpost, because they figured
that was where their guys were hanging out.
Yeah, because they figured this is where they're going to go. They're going to go to this outpost and they're going to hang out there if anything.
Yeah.
And they find all those bodies burnt, which they look like they were just ready to pop up at any time.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they did look fresh.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, they look like they were just ready to just say hi or something.
Yeah.
And then you see that really, like, it was a disturbing scene. It almost brings you to the Silence of the Lamb movie, where that guy's on the top of the hill and he's in a chair and he's
mumbling.
Just mumbling.
He's singing some, or is he singing or reciting a poem?
I think
like
he was
a limerick or a poem.
Some kind of limerick or poem, whatever it was. He was doing that over and over and over again. I think it was a limerick.
And he said, "What's your problem?"
Yeah, so I'm thinking to myself, did he
spit it out?
Did he see too much and he lost it?
He's seen too much.
And then when you see the crow get on his shoulder and then peck at him, and then you see he's just pecking at the open, skull at the back of the neck and back of the head, you're just like, whoa.
Yeah, because it was just exposed brain.
Yeah, I did not expect that. I was just like, whoa. That was just a little on the harsh side. I mean, what did you think of that when you saw that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, is he Is he just gonna like snap out of it at the last minute and say something to him, and then when you show the brain, like, oh,
yeah,
he's
not snapping out.
He's almost zombie.
Yeah. And
then Madison just put the knife in there slowly and let him go to sleep.
You know, I just don't understand all those strong guys that are there that were being all tough to her before they left. Because remember...
Yeah, but they kind of were staring at it. Weren't they kind of staring at it?
Well, I mean, so the one guy almost threw up. Or did throw up. I forget exactly what he did. And then, like, the one guy was just like, hey, sweetheart, he's like, I'll protect you. And then all of a sudden, when that whole thing is happening, they're all, like, just looking like, what?
Yeah, but wait a minute. Now, when was the point where they stopped and went and investigated that truck that rolled over?
That was in the beginning, yeah.
So, the guy was like, are you sure you can be able to handle yourself? And then she kind of, not that she really did a lot of damage, but she kind of...
She held her own.
She held her own. The guy was like, oh, okay. And he helped her out, too. He shot one of them.
Yeah, from a distance.
And he was like, okay. Well, he was using a bow and arrow. You don't shoot it up close.
Right, but what I'm saying is he was at a distance. Where everybody else was getting into the wet work.
He's still kind of tough, that guy.
Just because he had a tough beard. And
yes, people with beards are tough.
Yeah. Listen, not everybody that grows a beard is tough.
Yes, they are.
So, yeah, I mean, and then when she does that, it's just like, come on. Nobody else could do that. Nobody else had the gall to do that.
Yeah, but she was in trouble there for a minute.
No.
Oh, I'm still talking about the fight, but yeah. Well, I didn't really think of that. I just thought that she kind of did a mercy thing, like they were going to probably in a minute, just open fire. So she just took the knife and took care of it. Like, all right, enough of this standing around.
Yeah.
I didn't like look at everybody else and say, oh, you guys.
That's the way I kind of saw it. It's like they're trying to make her look tougher than the rest of the people.
Well, she's seen some shit. I mean, not that those guys haven't, but
yeah.
Then again, they've been doing a particular mission, or protecting that place and keeping track of that place. They haven't been to different towns and fled and had a whole fucking boardwalk full of zombies after them.
Well, it's the way it is when you go to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, that's true too.
Wait
a minute. She was in the her and what's that guy's name? The black guy with the shystery guy.
Are you talking about Travis? I mean, not Travis.
No.
You're talking about Victor?
Victor.
Yeah.
Is it Victor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they're in the bar of that place of the hotel, and they're getting, not in this episode, but first season, they're in that bar getting drunk.
That's second season.
And then they start second season. Then they start pouring in.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, how are they going to survive that?
And then that's when they found that.
Yeah, the secret passage.
The secret passage, and coincidence, everything works out fine. And then, like, one of the things that kind of threw me off was the whole relationship with Nick and, like, the other guy's father. Like the leader of the
yeah, he's kind of taken a liking to him.
Yeah,
I think he's because his sons are extreme almost.
Yes,
like whack job, and then like kind of like, okay, I'm taking everything serious.
Yeah,
and I think he's seen in Nick where he's kind of like not care, like can take care of business, but also wants to have some kind of normalcy or carve out his own thing.
Right.
But he liked it. He started like cleaning that house.
Yeah.
And that was his house, and he's like, oh, maybe this kid isn't so bad.
Yeah, and then of course he's trying to make a life for himself, and he's trying to make things comfortable
with that chick.
And then Luciana, what does she have to do?
She took off, dude.
She did. She said, "Shit."
She's like, oh, yeah, this is great. I'm out of here. I got to go back to Mexico and get killed. I got to go back to Mexico and get chopped up by the zombies.
Yeah.
But what is her deal?
It just,
like, why would you... I mean, you're in a place... Okay, is it the greatest place? No. It's 1,000,000 times better than any place else they've been at.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a source of food, water, growable... I mean, you have like a...
sustainable...
A countryside. Yeah. I mean, it's not like you're sitting in cowering in some place.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. And, and I think that's the point that they're making with most of these characters that kind of are just set on, hey, we got to go here because life is going to be better. And then, they get there and it's a struggle. It's just like, what?
But there's a correlation between The Walking Dead where they found a couple places like, hey, this is it.
Yeah.
And it never is.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, that might be... This new place might be akin to The Walking Dead where they were at the prison.
It could
they
be.
have the fence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They have, quarters, and they're starting to grow stuff.
Well, and the thing is that this place is not heavily defended either.
Oh, it's in the middle of nowhere, too.
Right, because what happens is...
Any walkers, you're going to see them for a while.
Right, but also what happens is in the middle of the night, those guys... Well, we'll get back to when they gave the mercy to the old guy, and then that's when Madison says, this feels like a trap, and they turn around, and the Indian guys are there.
Well, one Indian guy, and they're like, okay, what are you going to do? And she's like, look around, and they're like all over the place.
Yeah. So, and then, he pretty much threatens them and says, this is our land, and I want my land back. So, obviously, it's kind of like a struggle, like, between...
Yeah, but come on. What is... I mean, not to be, like, I guess, Indian prejudice. What land is he... I mean, he doesn't have any? He's, like, sitting there in the middle of the road?
Well...
they got some big They got some big... I mean, just for the... As long as the eye can see a lot of land.
Yeah, well, I think it's more of the... they already have a place that's settled. They have a place that already has everything set
It seems to me it's like one of those things like, oh, you took our land from blah, blah, blah a long time ago. Come on, dude. It's a different world. Just live where you're living, and they're going to live where they're living.
Right. Well,
who gives a crap?
Just like with the one son saying, I've talked to them before. I can handle this. And then, Madison had to remind him, that's when there was laws. Now that there's no laws, I mean, they can do whatever they want. And trying to negotiate.
I gotta see.
Not gonna help.
We gotta see what happens when he gets to that place and talks to him, because to me it sounds a little crazy. They may give you a point of view where they're at as a horrible whatever. I don't know. I'm a little bit like, dude, I think there's land enough for the few meager people that are there. I think there's land enough for everyone.
I think they could all survive together, but I think it's more of a
pride. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a prejudice against trying to say there has to be something in the past that happened that we don't know about, and that's what's...
You took our land. Well, the zombies took everything.
Yeah. So I mean, then that whole thing where they put all the bonfires all around their circumference of the place. I mean, when you... I
was like, what are they going to do? Are they trying to call the undead to them, or are they just trying to let them know, hey, we're here?
Yeah, I think it's more of a... Like they were saying, it's more of a scare tactic to let them know, hey, we could invade at any time. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to leave.
Yeah, but we didn't... what about... Speaking of Victor, dude, what about what happened to him?
Well, because... Daniel has had enough of his lying.
His lying to get what he wants.
Yeah.
And he keeps saying, you said she's here, she's waiting for me.
Yeah. Once he said...
But what happened there, though?
Yeah. Well, he set him up. He's like, you know what? I had enough.
But what I'm saying is, what happened to there were still people at the hotel last we seen a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, well, I'm sure... Remember, there was a bunch of people that came in that were kind of sick and needing some medical attention. So some people probably died, and then
rose back up.
Yeah, just like that old couple that died. And
So wait a minute, was she that? What episode was that in?
That was in.
That was the not this last one, the one before.
No, that was this episode.
So, was she dead, and he's always been keeping her, and she has no teeth, so she can't do anything? Or did she just die? That's my question. To me, it kind of seemed like she must have just died, but why would she be fucking around at the stove?
Yeah,
Because the zombies don't go, oh, I used to do this. They just go right for the food. They just go right to start killing people.
Unless she was going to do something and then died while she was doing it.
But she wouldn't be standing. Like, when they died, like, if she had a heart attack, she would drop to the floor.
Who knows?
And then when she got up, she would start crawling towards.
Or maybe because it was so dark there, she couldn't see anything.
They don't need... It's almost like they don't need senses anymore. It's just smell and hearing. Because their eyes are always all fucked up. It kind of felt like maybe he was keeping her around for a while.
Maybe.
And he's like, what are you doing up? But then he shot himself, so he kind of like...
Yeah.
Either did he have enough, or did he's like... okay, she's dead, I'm good as dead.
Yeah.
And she was trying to gum him.
She was.
He's like, she's got no teeth.
She was all like, nom, nom, nom. And I saw the look in his eyes. He was just like, No, that wouldn't work.
No, not right now.
No. That would probably hurt at this point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was... They didn't even go into that or explain that.
No, they kind of just glossed over that pretty quickly. But, I mean, when they were dancing the last episode together, it looked like she was alive.
Yeah, but it was from a distance, though, too.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was one of those things. He just... It was a weird start to an episode anyway.
Yeah, but you would think that something like that would happen more often. Like, why wouldn't somebody in the middle of the night die, like a heart attack, and then you're laying in bed, their partner's laying in bed, and all of a sudden they're getting chewed on.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably does happen, but I'm sure that's the first time they explored it. Because they don't really explore that too much.
They said, listen, we have to get this house to Nick, so let's kill them all.
I agree. But, yeah, I mean, it just, like, at first, when Nick is talking to, and I don't know the guy's name, but the leader, the leader of the farm, and when he's talking to them, and he finds the gun, he's like, oh, this is a beautiful thing, and Nick's like, yeah, don't need a gun. And he's like, well, everybody needs a gun.
Or every house.
Or every house should have a gun.
That's what he's talking about.
And Nick was just like, yeah, no, don't need one. And just the look he gave Nick, it was just like, man, he looks like he just wants to kill him. And then he just shined up the gun for him and gave it right to
that guy. But that guy's a weird looking dude to begin with.
Yeah, you're right.
He's a little creepy.
He is.
I mean, he's a pretty good. Well, I guess maybe he almost plays the same character though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
In other movies.
Yeah.
Kind of like a pissed off, crotchety.
Yeah. That's usually he usually plays the old man that nobody wants to deal with.
He's pissed off, and maybe he's not right, but he's like, I'm going to do it my way anyways.
Right. So, and then of course it leads to when Madison and them meet up with all the Indian guys, and then they're like, yeah, we're gonna take your supplies, and we're gonna take your shoes. Now,
is that just so because they need shoes, or is that just so they have a hard ass time getting back?
Yeah, it's just more psychological type of things, because walking on rocks and dirt, and,
and they were all messed up, and it took them a long time.
It did.
So it's not that they can run back. Hey, look, this is what happened.
Right. And it did. You could tell people were just all messed up. They were just like, and that one kid took it hard. The crazy kid's friend.
Yeah.
He took it the hardest, and his whole family just wanted to leave. And
because they're like, what? These Indians are coming for us.
Yeah. So it really messed them up. So, and then that leads us into the next episode, which is when they're discussing about leaving, and then eventually the kid, I don't know his name, and I keep on not knowing his name, but his real life name is Daniel. when his character, confronts the other kid, and he's just like, "You can't leave, you can't leave," like he's trying to tell the family they can't leave, and he's talking to the dad, and the dad's like, punches him.
Yeah.
And it was just like, as soon as the dad punched him, like, you could tell he just went into this, like, shell. Like, his dad, he's used to his dad beating him. So you could tell it's a broken family, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, the one kid is always trying to defend the brother who's messed up. And you could tell Madison is starting to mess with the kid, too, because he keeps on telling him, hey, we need a strong leader. And she keeps on trying to push his authority because she knows she can manipulate him.
Yeah.
And I think
she's going to try. I think she feels she can, and I think she has quite a bit of that ability to do that. But I don't know. And it's all said and done. If he doesn't like it, I think he's going to let her know.
Oh, of course. But again, he's looking for that mommy figure.
Yeah. Oh, I meant the old man. I didn't mean the young
No.
man.
I'm talking about the young guy.
Yeah.
Because she's playing both fences. She's pushing the old guy, plus pushing.
And she even mentioned that. Would you have mommy issues? She even mentioned that to him.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's obviously smitten with her in some way. So he's going to listen to whatever she says because she's trying to, make sure that her family is always going to, make out ahead. And it kind of works, and in the sense where if it was Rick would probably be, kind of pushing the envelope of being friends with, the dad who's the leader, and I think he wouldn't be so friendly with the other kid.
Yeah.
The Daniel, the crazy kid. I think he would be more friendly with the other kid that's,
more straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he would pick him only because he would want somebody to kind of stabilize him. Because Rick knows that he would need that kind of stabilization, or else he would just go off the deep end.
Yeah. Well, it's a different show, Mike.
No, I'm saying, but in the scenario where Madison is trying to control it, it's a little bit different because she knows she can go off the deep end when she wants, but right now she's trying to keep some kind of sensible control for her family.
Yeah.
Because she has her family. If she didn't have her family, she'd be a little bit more reckless than what she is now.
I don't think that she would actually be the person she is.
No, probably not.
Because she's doing everything to protect them. If she didn't, she'd probably be a little more, what are we going to do?
And then you have the leader of the farm, the dad, who we find out he used to be a drunk and now he's drinking again. And then he kind of befriends Nick and gets to Nick's house, and he's just like, "Where were you, son? I've been waiting for you for hours." And Nick's like, "What? Like, what?
To have a drink."
Yeah.
With me. Yeah.
He's like, "Have a drink with me." And Nick's like, "Yeah, no." Not me.
Well, you know what, dude? In that environment, jeez, how are you gonna stay sober?
Well, it's
people dying and shit.
It's easy to stay sober because there's really not that much alcohol around. I mean, alcohol is not the commodity you're thinking of. When you're thinking of, what resources do I need to get? I mean, sure, it'd probably be good for, trading later, if you have the opportunity to get some, but it's not your first thought to keep.
You don't know about alcohol, Mike.
I know.
It actually probably is a pretty powerful commodity because people are always going to want that shit.
Listen, I know enough about alcohol, and there's been nights.
That's what I'm saying. Is it's going to be the medicine that most people are going to want to turn to.
Well, of course, everybody's going to want some kind of outlet to forget about their woes. But and then and of course in this episode too, we have everybody's trying to leave, and of course the crazy kid's best friend is trying to leave, and then after he leaves, that's when Nick and the is it Nick and the guy is sitting there, and then they see the horse, and he's like, "How long has that horse been there?" And he's like, I don't know." And then they find out that that's the horse from when the other people leave. So and then
it came back.
Yeah, it came back. So that's when they go. Madison, Nick, and the other guy go out to go look to see what happened. And then that's when they find out that whole family's slaughtered. I mean, and the whole family's slaughtered, and you're thinking to yourself at first, maybe it was the Indians. But then they kind of give you those clues. If it was the Indians, they would have done this, they would have done that. So obviously it wasn't them. And there's only one other person who would do that. And of course it's the crazy son.
Yeah.
So when they get back to the camp, that's when they, kind of, Madison surprises everybody by showing everybody the bodies of all the dead people, and then saying, we have to defend our place.
Yeah.
Which made everybody stay, because everybody was just like, I'm not going out there, I'm going to get killed.
Yeah, but I mean, still, we don't have a idea what their force is yet. I mean, we've seen a bunch of people hiding with weapons,
right?
But what are these people just living in the dirt somewhere? What are their resources?
Right. It could be like
Do each one of their guns have 2 bullets? And I mean, how tough are they?
Right. Which is true. I mean, they could be just doing empty bluffs.
Yeah.
But when Madison does her little speech, and Nick is looking at her like, what the hell? And then that's when later on he approaches her and he's like, well, what was that out there? And she's like, I had to do what I had to do to keep this, place going. And he goes, well, I agree, but it would have been nice if you told me, because I would have backed you. And I'm still backing you because I didn't say anything. Yeah. So Nick is kind of on the side of the mom, but he just doesn't like that she's not letting him in on what she's doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still, you could tell she's doing everything that she can to ensure that her family's safe.
And that's what she does.
Yeah. In the most annoying way she can.
Yeah. Because it's always like she's right and figures shit out.
Yeah, well.
I almost thought that Travis kind of balanced her out.
You think so?
Yeah, because he was smart, but I don't know. Kind of seemed like he had like some kind of background to be. I mean, not that a teacher isn't. I don't know. It just, to me, she just seems to be a little too proficient in things sometimes.
You know what? She was a guidance counselor.
Yeah.
So.
And how well does that work out for people?
Yeah, well, you know how that goes. And of course, the sister is boning the other kid.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense.
But she's kind of like whatever.
Yeah, well, she's just doing it just to get a rock.
And he was like, "Hey, you want to, I want to give you these poems and this," and he's like, "Nah, I'm not interested."
Yeah. She's just trying to do whatever she has to get through the day.
Yeah. And he's looking for a girlfriend almost.
Mm-hmm. And then it was kind of uncomfortable when Madison was talking to her, and she's just like, "Are you using protection?"
Well,
she's like, "Really? Do you think I want to bring a baby into this screwed up world?"
Well, do you? Those are famous last words.
Of course they are. Then, one baby zombie inside of you.
Yep.
Trying to eat its way out.
Oh, that would be so... Why they haven't done that yet?
Oh,
They can't because it's not developed. It wouldn't be able to. It's not developed enough.
no, it wouldn't have teeth.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be messed up and awesome at the same time.
Well, what was it that I watched? I watched some kind of, Night of the Living Dead type thing where they were stuck in a mall, and the one guy's girlfriend was pregnant, and then she went to give birth, and he was like, the baby didn't move for a while, and she was all scared. And then after a while, I guess the baby had movement again, so the guy was just like kind of scared because he's just like, I don't really know what's gonna go on here, so he moved them to like a sporting goods store, and then she was just like, oh, I think I'm ready to give birth, and she died during labor, and then she became a zombie, and then when he took the baby out of her, the baby was a zombie as well. And it was just like, and he was just like, oh, we're family now. It was just like, what?
Well, he has goals.
Well, I guess. So speaking of movies, since we're talking about movies, I went to go see the new
zombie movies.
Nah, I went to go see the new Transformers movie.
Okay.
Which,
and how was that?
It was actually really good.
Mike, would you have told me if it wasn't really good?
Well,
would you be honest?
Yeah, I would be honest.
You're pro Transformers.
Well, you know what? The Michael Bay Transformers have really not been the best, because it's just like, it's Michael Bay's version of the Transformers, and for those people that are, fans of the original series, they just want to see, their favorite characters the way they did before.
Yeah, but you can't, because it's, they have technology now to make it more blended. I mean, first of all, those series of vehicles aren't available anymore.
Oh, yeah, of course.
From the 80s.
Yeah.
But you have to make it a little bit more modernized.
Well, and I understand.
And if not, make a cartoon. I mean, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and I understand that Michael Bay tries to make things. If it was real, how would I do it? That kind of thing, where it looks like exoskeletons on them instead of them being the actual vehicle type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to me, it makes them look like they're more like a covering on top of a robot shell.
Right. Yeah, and
then when they transform, you're like, it doesn't really represent what he just was a minute ago.
Right. Yeah. And that's what he tries to do in that whole thing. But yeah, this new one was kind of based off of, they had a cartoon series, and the cartoon series, which was just recent, was kind of what they based this whole thing off of, where
really?
Yeah, the planet, like Earth, and I don't know if you want me to spoil it for you or not.
It's fine. It's going to be a while before I see it. That's fine.
So the planet Earth is actually Unicron.
What?
Yeah, so
when did they make that apparent?
Well, again, this is within the cartoon series that they had before, which Michael Bay was a part of. So he kind of...
So wait a minute. In this cartoon series, Earth was Unicron.
Yeah.
And in this movie, Earth is Unicron.
Yes.
Oh.
So what it is that Unicron was this giant planet who kind of... he wasn't a giant planet.
It's different. It's different than what he was in the cartoon. The original cartoon.
Right, in the original cartoon. So he was...
So it's not like he was a giant robot that became a planet. He was more like he was a planet that also happened to be some kind of robotic sentient being or something.
Right. So in the series, what it was is Unicron had fallen asleep, or he had... I forget what it was, or they trapped him in this form that he was in, so he became the center of the Earth in the cartoon series. So the center of the Earth was Unicron, which, if he came back to life, would obviously destroy.
So
Earth.
the Earth developed around him.
Exactly.
Okay, so it wasn't like he's Earth. It's just that Earth grew around him and then layers and layers and layers. And,
right.
okay.
So in this Michael Bay movie, it's this kind of the same thing, but they didn't just explore it too much.
Yeah.
They just, you saw the horns coming out, and of course they described it as horns instead of describing it as pillars or spires, or you know what I mean. Like whenever you would see like something that would come up out of the ground like a spike, most people would say, "Hey, it looks like a spire," or like a tower or something. They automatically were calling it horns, which already gave it away that it was going to be Unicron. And then they described it as Unicron is, a part of the Earth, so he is, inside the Earth somewhere. And remember, I was saying before that the Quintessons were the creators of Transformers. So, of course, instead of having the Quintessons, they had Quintessa, who is the main villain in this, and she brings Optimus and Cybertron to Earth to drain Unicron, so that way they can, revitalize Cybertron. So she had, I don't know if she infused him with Dark Energon or she did something to him where she slapped him in the face, and when she did that, she made this red mark on him, and then she was able to control him after that.
So she left some kind of a virus or something?
Something like that. And she was able to control him, and that's why he was hell-bent on trying to, destroy Unicron. And, of course, they had used the King Arthur lore where, the sword Excalibur was actually something that was given to him by one of the knights from Cybertron, and then the staff that I was going to say Loki, that what was his name, the wizard Merlin. The staff that Merlin was using was given to him by the knight as well, and he was able to control this dragon that turned the tide of battle for them. And it was funny because they're in this heated battle, and you could see that King Arthur's troops were losing, and his knights are saying we should probably leave because we're gonna die, and Arthur's like, no, I believe in Merlin, he's gonna lead the way, and they're saying, no, he's a charlatan, he's not what you think he is, he's not a real wizard. And then you see him trying to get to, where the Cybertronian ship had crashed, and he was talking to the knights there, and they, he was talking to them, and he's like, listen, I've been a charlatan all my life. It's true what people say about me. I don't have real magic. I just use parlor tricks, but I need your help now, so that way, we can win this war. And then they give him the staff, and then he's able to, control the dragon. So, of course, it looks like he has real power now.
And what's this dragon?
It was a bunch of the Transformers would get together and make this 3-headed dragon.
Oh, so it's robotic. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then, later on down the line, it's like the whole Merlin thing and, like, this whole mythology behind it, kind of meshes into what's going on in nowadays, and how the Quintessa had these knights. She had 12 knights who rebelled against her and took the staff from her because they knew that she was just trying to use it for evil, and then they came to Earth to hide on Earth. And it was actually a pretty good storyline, and it was kind of funny. Like, I know Michael Bay tries to make his stuff funny, but it was kind of funny. They had introduced Hot Rod, which was one of the characters from the original cartoon series.
Oh, he had not been out yet.
No, he had not been out yet. So they introduced him.
Oh, because they're almost all gone in the last movie. I actually watched that not too long ago with where they were all, it was like Prime, and then we're like we're ready to leave.
Yeah,
we're done.
yeah. And then what happens is that they for some reason, when Prime put out his call at the end when he flies up into space.
Yeah. I thought that's what happened. He keeps going. He runs into that chick, and she manipulates him.
Yeah, and then what happens is a whole bunch of Transformers start landing on Earth. So, and then, of course, the government's trying to, keep them under control, trying to eliminate some of them, because they're trying to get rid of the Decepticons. And, of course, what happens is they're talking about all the different countries that are, trying to control and get rid of all these. And then they go, except for Cuba, because Cuba, they just let them run around. And they're all playing.
Mike, are you being attacked by a wild animal?
I was. It's all right. I just give them treats. It'll be all right. And then, of course, you see them playing volleyball on the beach in Cuba.
The robots?
Yeah.
The Transformers? Come on.
Yeah, because you know how it is. They all like to play volleyball.
I never knew that.
But they left it open for another movie because the way they ended it was, Quintessa wasn't really destroyed, and she's talking to some people about, some of the humans, and she's just like, because the one guy was touching one of the horns of Unicron, and she's just like, he doesn't like it when you touch it. He's like, what? What are you talking about? And she's just like, because she makes herself look human. And she's just like, yeah, he doesn't like that. But I can tell you how to kill him. It's just like, what?
Who says that?
She does. She's like,
Wow.
So they left it open for sequels. So obviously there's going to be, more to it.
So Prime's what was Prime was really he was mind controlled.
He was mind controlled.
Okay.
So she turned him evil, and then Bumblebee, who hasn't spoken in any of the movies, finally says his first, not his first words, but he spoke in the first movie. But then he speaks.
Well, he does. He talks through the radio, playing like different sounds.
Right, but he actually used his voice to say something.
And what did he say?
And he said, Prime, I would,
he talks to him in a conversation.
Yeah, he talks to him.
Not just a one word.
No. So he says to him, Prime, I would follow you anywhere. We've been friends and blah 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 blah. And then, of course, Prime, snaps out of it. Yeah. So and then, they defeat her, and Cybertron.
But was he kicking ass? Prime was kicking everybody's ass, or what?
He was. He was pretty much. He was pretty ruthless.
Now, was Megatron in this one?
He was.
Because remember, he kind of like in the last one, he kind of sneaked off. I'll deal with you guys another time.
Yeah. So.
Well, no, it wasn't Megatron. It was Galvatron.
No, it was Galvatron who snuck off. But and then
did he look stupid or what?
Well, no, because then what they did was it wasn't Galvatron. It was Megatron.
Well, he came back.
He came back.
Or he changed his body back.
I think he might have. Well, they didn't explain it too much. But I think what happened was because Galvatron was still Megatron.
It was this guy's body, and he put his consciousness in there,
right?
And Megatron's consciousness came back, and
just took it over.
So he manipulated it back. Or
so now he's a jet again. So
wait, what? He was always a jet?
He was a jet in the first movie.
Oh, but he was weird because he was all like wide or something like that.
Yeah, he was really he was different looking, and then in the second movie he was some kind of convoy, like big truck
or something.
And it, but he always has been some kind of flyer, at least in some sense. And then in this one he was a flyer again, and then he didn't really. I mean, it was Frank Welker who did the voice again. So it was from the original series. It was the Megatron voice. He did the voice again for Megatron, which was kind of cool because you get to hear that voice again. So they're back playing the same, side by side type things, and then, but he wasn't as threatening or commanding as he was in some of the other movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was kind of like, I don't want to say
because he wasn't the main villain. It was pretty much Prime was the main villain, and her and this chick, and this robot.
Yeah. Yeah. So they didn't really push too much on him.
So did any Autobots die in this?
You know what? I don't think any Autobots really died.
So wait, when they were back in the King Arthur's time, there was Autobots, and was there Decepticons or just Autobots, or what was it?
It was just Autobots. It was just the 12 Knights who were there. So they just look like really big knights.
Okay, so it wasn't like anybody we know, like Prime or anything.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah, nothing like that.
And were there like were there like carcasses or whatever standing around anywhere? Or?
There were. At one point, they went to the ship that was in the bottom of the ocean, and in that ship was the 12 Knights, and they were kind of hanging out there, and obviously they probably just shut themselves down to conserve energy, and then eventually they awoke them, trying to find the staff and trying to defeat Quintessa.
Hey, what do we do with this? He said. Hey, how do we do this?
Exactly. They were just like, well, what are we supposed to do?
And they're like, listen.
And then
he said, oil, oil. He's trying to say something.
He's trying to say something. What is it? But yeah, I mean, it was a good storyline. I mean, they kind of put some of the mythology of Earth and some of the Cybertronian mythology together to kind of mesh them together, so that way you could see that their universes are together. But it was actually, I enjoyed the storyline.
So when Prime was done, when he became good again, he was just like, all right, we're going to stay.
Well, yeah, they had no choice because Cybertron is actually in Earth's orbit now.
What?
Yeah. Well, that's where they left it at, so now we got to figure out.
But Cybertron, is it alive or dead or what?
I'm going to say it's in a state of flux right now. It could be...
So there could be more Autobots and Decepticons on there? But
yeah,
wait, so is it bigger than Earth?
No, it's about this. I think it's...
Like the moon?
About a little bit bigger than the moon. Because at one point... it kind of touches the moon a little bit and kind of scrapes some of the moon surface. But it doesn't really do much to it. But yeah, it's about that size. So, I mean, it's all the mythology from the first couple of movies, they kind of threw that out the window and then just, hey, we're going to start with a whole new thing. So, they kind of reinvented the series even though they didn't.
So there's nobody, like, remember in the cartoon, Rodimus Prime took over for Optimus. There's none of that going on.
No, and they might do a little bit of that in the next...
So when Optimus went bad, who was, like, leading the Autobots?
Believe it or not...
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg, yeah. Yeah, so he was trying to keep them safe.
Now, wait a minute. The Mark Wahlberg, the genius inventor that is also physically fit?
Remember, he's not a real genius inventor because he never really made anything that worked. He tried and it just wasn't working. So
he fixed Optimus back up enough to...
Yeah, they described him as a person that failed at everything he did, and then eventually,
Except for lifting weights.
Yeah, well, he's a farm boy, so.
And how about the
being
guy
on
that was
farm.
in the other movie? He's not there. That blonde-haired, like hippie dude.
Remember, he died.
He died? Oh yeah, he blew up. That's
Yeah.
right. Or no, he got frozen or something. Right?
Yeah, he got turned into
Ice or carbon or something.
metal.
Okay.
Metal.
Oh, that's right. But his
So
his daughter's not in this one.
No,
There's some other chick.
Yeah, the other chick is like some
Refugee.
She's more of a genius than Mark Wahlberg
Really?
is. Yeah, because she was repairing a little robot of her own, and she's been fixing him up, trying to keep him going. And then when he's talking to her about certain things, she already knew how to fix things and how to keep them together, because she's been trying to fix. Like, she had a couple of Autobots that she was taking care of, and then one of them got destroyed, and so she, got hooked up with Mark Wahlberg, and so she was helping him out.
Was he ever like, how did you do that?
He would never admit that. It was more like his character would be like, "Oh yeah, I would have done that," or or yeah, eventually, yeah, that's the way I would have done it. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's an interesting, watch. And then what's coming up tomorrow,
Which is Spider-Man? It's
Spider-Man.
tonight, actually.
Well,
Guys at work are going tonight. Actually, they probably are at the movies right now watching it.
probably.
Yeah, because they used to do it at midnight, and now they do it like 7, 8 o'clock the day
Because
before.
people can't be doing that stuff. Because people will call out of work, and there's people that'll do that. They just, hey, I want to see this movie really bad. I'm gonna call out to work.
But still, if you're watching a movie at 12 and then you're up until like 2 in the morning, it's rough.
Yeah, I can't do that. That's rough.
Especially if you're working on it. You can't do that.
We're not young like that anymore.
Exactly.
I don't think.
I don't think I'm going to go see it
that
until maybe Sunday or maybe Monday or Tuesday of next week. I don't like to go. Although, the thing is today, now you buy these assigned seatings a lot of times.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad. But you remember when we went to go see Lord of the Rings, dude.
Oh, God.
That was the freaking worst. They had to say, okay, here's your seat, and then you're crowded in there, and then a drunk idiot through the whole freaking movie talking shit.
Woo, Strider!
Yeah, he was just stupid.
Strider!
And then it's all quiet, and he drops his bottle. It's rolling down the hill, or the...
That was the best, because, remember the movie theater was on a slant, and all you hear was the ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, it's just going down. It's just like, come on. But yeah, now with the whole assigned seating, and they're usually better seats now. It's not too bad.
No. It's almost as good as, remember when we went to go see Mortal Kombat?
No. I don't remember that, actually.
Oh my God, we went to, it was up north.
That theater that was right by the bridge?
Right,
okay,
right.
Yeah, we would go there sometimes, because it was nicer, and it was just like kind of like you're getting, like you're kind of going away to see it, instead of you're just going down the street to the mall.
Right. And remember, we were sitting there, and all of a sudden, you heard a guy in the movie theater just before everything starts. He's like, "Ryu, woo!" We're all like, "What the hell?" And then remember the laser pointers.
Oh, and they had a bunch of laser pointers. I think I do remember that, actually.
Yeah, and we were just like, "Oh, this is your exact words were, if they start shooting, Mike, you're on your own."
Because it was gangsta.
If they start shooting, Mike, you're on your own.
I'm going to get Juji fruits and see you later.
I'm going to trip you.
But wait, the one Seinfeld where the guy was in a car accident, she was waiting for him at the movie theater, and before she left, she said, "Can I just get a box of Juji fruits?" And then the guy was like, "Wait a minute. What are you eating there?" She's like, "Oh, it's just Juji fruits." Did you get that after you heard or before? After. And he was like so pissed off.
Yeah.
You mean I was in a car accident and you decided to buy some candy?
Well, yeah. I was hungry.
I mean, would you be pissed? I don't know. Maybe if he almost died, maybe I guess you would. I don't know.
I don't know if I'd be pissed off. I'd be more pissed off that she didn't share.
I don't know. Sometimes you're, I don't know. So you're in a bad way, and then like, so you don't care, but you're feeling sorry for yourself. You don't care about me.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, that I was watching some videos of what's his name? What's the boy's name? Tom Holland.
Okay.
Training, and these are from the very beginning till to the end. And dude, in the beginning, he was just they're showing him doing he had something in his backyard, I believe, a big thick mat. He was doing tumbles and stuff, and he was just falling all the time. And then at the end, dude, he's running and doing a handless somersault over this big, as tall as him almost. And my wife was like, "Whoa," because it's like a gymnast. I'm like, he could put the Spider-Man suit on and be Spider-Man.
Well, I'm sure that's what he was doing, so that way.
But it's funny is he's physically fit but not muscly. I mean, he has muscles,
right.
But it's not overkill.
He's kind of like Tobey Maguire was.
Yeah, he's got the build to look strong, but not look like not a normal person.
Right.
But he I seemed like he got into it, he got really into being able to do all the flips on his own.
Well, I'm sure that's what
that's Spider-Man right there.
Hoping to do, yeah.
I'm just really I'm really interested in what the actual story is going to be where they're taking it from and where they're taking it to, how much Iron Man is putting his nose in there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they're. I mean, Spider-Man never needed Iron Man. Hello.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going into the Ultimate thing, then.
But that's just based off the cartoon. If you're talking about how he had all those gadgets in the Ultimate, he was just a more popular kid. The Ultimate comic was more like the Andrew Garfield kind of Spider-Man, where he was kind of not really a science misfit, but more like a a kid that did his own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he used to skate in the middle of nowhere where nobody could see him.
And he never did that.
Take pictures, because that's what cool kids do.
But I'm interested to see what they do with this story.
Yeah, I'm kind
and
of.
I think there's supposed to be the Shocker as a villain, and also the Vulture as the main villain. But I think the Shocker is a guy who has this electrical powers. I think he's supposed to be in the beginning of it.
He's the guy who runs around in his socks.
Gotcha.
He's like the Shocker.
Gotcha. No, that was
gotcha.
There was a guy in the Tick cartoon that was like that. He had a rug outfit. And he's like, "Hey, coming to get you. Gotcha." Zap, zap, and he's zapping people with this full rug outfit. And it was like, "Oh my god, I can't." He couldn't breathe. It was too hot. He collapsed over. Because it was there was plants attacking people, and he was like, he was like, "Hey, this guy's actually effective." And then, I can't take it.
Yeah, it was too hot.
Man, did you see the? Did we talk about this before? The Netflix Tick.
Yes.
Dude, that looks pretty good.
Amazon version.
I hope they're gonna. Yeah, Amazon. I hope they're gonna do something with that because that looked really good.
It did. But
they
because they made it more serious.
And to me, it seemed like the boy was the only one seeing him. Almost like he was a figment of his imagination. But then you're like, well, wait a minute. He's actually doing stuff. But then if you step back, you're like, wait, is he real or not? You know what movie I saw? The movie A Cure for Wellness.
Okay.
It was bizarre.
Oh, really?
There was... it was like a psychological thriller, and at the end there was supernatural elements to it. I guess I could say it's worth watching, but you're just gonna be at the end and be like, "What did I just watch?
What did I just watch?"
Yeah, because it was. They go to this hospital, and then once you get there, you can't leave. Something always seems to be happening. The guy goes there is looking for a senior partner at his firm. You have to bring him back. So he goes there, trying to convince the guy to come back. And then he's like a kind of a stuck-up kind of kid, and then he gets in a car accident. And like, oh, well, you're in a car accident, and since you're here, we're going to take care of you. So he can never leave. And there's a lot of stuff to do with the water. So it's just, it's a weird movie, and at the very end, you're like, what?
It would have been better as a TV series.
No, but not to ruin it, but it kind of reminded me at the very end of Phantom of the Opera. That's all I'm going to say. So it's kind of interesting.
So some kid stood up in the middle of the thing and said, "Phantom."
Phantom. No, it was weird at the end.
Oh well. So I think we've babbled on long enough, haven't we?
Yeah, because next couple weeks we're gonna have to start babbling about Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
Because
Game of Thrones and Preacher.
Preacher's on already.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
it started already? Okay,
I'm 2 episodes in.
Okay, so next episode we're gonna have to start talking.
Yeah,
about
you gotta get because they released 2 episodes at once. Like one came out on Sunday, and then the next one came out on Monday, and then now I think they're on 4 or something like that.
Okay.
So I'm into 2, and I think I gotta watch 3. So.
Okay. So we get a lot of catching up.
But
to
you know,
do.
it's a little. They're making it a little silly this season.
Are they?
Because you know Seth Rogen's the producer.
Yeah. He's the producer.
And it's just, I mean, there's still violence and bloodshed, but there a little bit of silly elements. Like the one character, the vampire character, goes on this drug trip with another character to kind of convince him to help him. So it's like a whole thing of them doing just a bunch of weird drug trippy things. And I'm like, all right. But it's like a long sequence of them doing a lot of different stuff. And I'm like, did they need the whole...
They didn't need
Yeah, they didn't need to do it for that long, but I guess what else are they going to do?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh, well. All right. So, then, next episode, we have a lot to talk about. So, hopefully we haven't bored you that bad on this episode.
Wake up. Wake up.
Wake up. So...
We will have links to smelling salts on our webpage.
Yes. So, I'm Mike LeBoy, and he's...
Paul Romanek.
And we will see you next week.
Next week. Same bat channel.
Yes, same bat time. All right. Bye.
All right now.
All right.
So long now.
All right.